Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Listen, I hope you guys are having a really good day. I want to introduce you guys to something that I like to do, and I've been doing since the age of 14. Journaling. Every single day I journal. I remember being 14 years old and not knowing how to express myself in words. When I had the accident with my eye, I went through a time of depression from 4 years old to maybe about 12 or 13. And often I didn't know how to put in words what I was feeling, especially the negative feelings, because I didn't want to worry my mother. I didn't want to make anyone upset. And so often I would sit with those things in my spirit until I came to be about, like I said, 13 or 14 years old. And I just began to write, and I began to write, and I began to write. And I didn't know then that it's called journaling. I knew, later on in life. But back then I called it letters to God. Now, in those letters to God, I would write my fears. I would write my worries. I would write my desires and where I wanted to see myself in the future. And I had no idea that that was a process. But it was something that I did, and I took it very seriously. And I truly believe that those were prayers. I believe that they were words that God took and He used those words to shape my future and shape where I am even in this moment. In 10 years, none of us will be in the same place that we are today. And when we write and we journal, it reminds us of where we came from. It reminds us of where God has brought us from. And it helps us to release those tensions, those feelings, those emotions that we will feel weird sharing with other people. It's a good thing to know that God doesn't judge us, and He doesn't look down on us, and He doesn't use our weaknesses against us, which is what some people can do sometimes, unfortunately. I still recommend, if you need talk to someone professionally if you feel burden or you feel deep with, in yourself some problem. But just for general stuff in basic life, I advise you to get a book and journal. Write your letters to God. Even back then at 14, I wasn't saved. I didn't know Christ. I wasn't raised in the church. But guess what? I truly believe that God loves us as individuals even before we come to know Him. He knows our hearts, He knows our desires, and He knows our ultimate destinations. We don't know at the time, and so that causes us to fear, that causes us to be anxious, that causes us to deal with so many emotions in the season and in the moment. But when we journal, we put it on paper, and we let God know that even though we are here, we believe that He can get us to another place. Listen, write your letters to God. Journal. Don't tell everybody your business. Sometimes you can tell some and you keep some. I remember a guy used to tell us back in the day, he said, tell some and you keep some. You tell some and you keep some. And some of those things that I would never, like I said, I would never tell anyone, not even my husband, I journal about. God hears everything. And even when we write, we put it in a perspective or in a way that we understand. And I'm telling you, when you go back and you look in those journals, over the years, I remember when I first got married and had children, it was really rough kind of getting acclimated to a life that I wasn't used to, even though I desired it. It was challenges. Every season has challenges. And a few years ago, I was able to go back and look into my journals and see like, wow, God, you really brought me through. Wow. I didn't realize it was that tough during that time, or I was in that headspace during that time. But look, when I went back and I saw it, I'm like, God, if you did it then, you can do it now. How many of you know that we move from glory to glory, and every season, like I said, has its own challenges? Even now at 41, I'm trying to move to a different level than some things, and I'm like, God, I don't know how this is going to happen, and so and so and so. So guess what? This morning I'm journaling, I'm writing about it, and I believe that in 10 years I'll be able to look back on this journal and say, wow, I didn't know that season was like that. Listen, letters to God. Write your letters to God. He's listening. He cares. And don't underestimate the power of putting it down on paper. Okay? God is watching. Whatever season you're in, I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to know that God is able to bring you through this season to the next. Don't let it kill you. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it depress you. Put it on paper, say a prayer, and just know by faith that God is listening And he's in the business of helping us, counseling us, encouraging us, strengthening us, and getting us through some of the toughest times in our lives. So I encourage you guys today, get your journal. If you don't have a book, go get some notebook paper, staple it together, write it down. Have a good day, guys.